Right. Oh, I'm out of.
You are out of frame a little bit. There we go. Much better.
I'm better.
Hopefully you're in frame in the next one. Otherwise, you might have to adjust it back again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome.
Today we are going to be doing a little bit of some mixed content. We're going to
started off with just chatting in a bit.
Yeah, with a little bit of chatter about the games that we've already played.
Yep.
And then we're gonna start a quick little 1 episode stream of a game that I love. Possibly my favorite game of all time.
That's a wild statement.
It's a great game.
It's better than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Better than Spirit Tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, better than Baldur's Gate 3. Better than Twilight Princess. Yeah, this is possibly the best game I've ever played, which is crazy because it's basically a mobile game.
It's worse. It's a Flash game.
It's not a good game. It's maybe the worst game in the world, but it's my favorite. This game is so bad. You want to know how bad this game is?
How bad is it?
When it released on Unity, this is my favorite story. When it released on Unity, they dropped the game. People downloaded it, and they found out very quickly that if you uninstall the game with the uninstaller, it deletes your Windows.dll folder. So all of your system files would just get deleted, and it bricked your computer. Which is so funny.
How did they even manage that?
I don't know. And it took them like 2 days to fix it. So everyone was like spamming this already. They were like, do not uninstall this game. It was just very funny. Yeah, to this day, I can't believe that was an actual thing.
Yeah, I
very
can imagine laughing out loud as I
Oh my God.
You're just
wild.
Hilarious. Just absolutely hilarious. I mean, F's in the chat for the people that learn the hard way, but that is so funny.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It was not a good game.
All right.
It's still not a good game, but
So-
it's my favorite game.
Oh, let's actually. I forgot to change the title because this isn't really indie extravaganza now.
This is schooling
We're
Brian.
just,
We're schooling Brian today.
Well, later we are. Right now we're
just chatting.
We're reviewing the catalog. Is that how you spell catalog?
Yeah.
Okay. Says the library stream. Is that how you spell? All right.
So we've only ever played 4 games, believe it or not.
That is kind of crazy.
That is because we've been running this
Well,
show for almost
because
a year now.
we've only more recently changed the format.
Are we coming up on our 1 year?
Where yes,
That's in May, right?
in May. Yep.
This is the second stream.
Yeah, this is Aiden's second
I
stream.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you looking over at Aiden? Yeah, Aiden had no idea.
What's up, Clown?
Hey, Clown. How's it going? Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a nostalgia throwback stream, so it's good that you're here. Aiden, if you are unaware, Clown is Ryan.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Our original producer, our OG producer.
What's up? It's Aiden. I remember me. Maybe you do.
Okay, so let's pop over to the main display. You're probably gonna have to adjust your camera again.
All right.
I'm gonna make sure to not run the intro again because that's what we do here. Look at that. Aiden, my king.
I'm very happy.
All right,
fine.
here's our little spreadsheet action that we have going on right now.
So first up, let's go through the categories, I suppose.
Yes. I'm sorry, give me 1 second to get the logo up. Our first category is art style. So we will be judging the art style based on, I think all of these have some level of like, how are we judging them on an originality point of view?
Sure.
So, because at least for me, like a good game should be pretty original. It should feel new. It should feel like there 2 things are important, which I think we were briefly discussing before. If they're in if these 2 things are balanced, you have like generally a really good game. And I would say that is originality and polish.
Sure.
So I think it's really important that like a game introduces something new somewhere, either like a unique art style, unique sound design, unique gameplay mechanics, or a unique way of getting its narrative across, or just having a unique narrative.
Sure.
Like if you have a generic story, but it's told in an interesting way or conveyed in like a cool way, then that's great. It can be a generic story as long as it feels different and fresh. Or if it can just be like a strictly like narrative game where like the point is listen and watch the story that we're telling. But in that case, the story actually needs to be compelling and interesting.
Yeah, I would agree.
So to me, I'm judging all of these categories with the concepts of originality and polish in mind.
Sure.
I think things can feel overly polished sometimes, which can be a detriment, but generally I would say polish is a good thing when it's balanced with the originality. And then, you know, sometimes you try to lean too heavily into the originality and it doesn't feel polished, pseudo regalia. But you know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it could be weaker or stronger in some aspects. So I don't know if you have any more input to that, but that's basically how I'm thinking of these categories.
I kind of have a vibes-based criteria myself. So most of the stuff that I feel about a game kind of just relates to like, I feel like it's very, very, judging games is really very subjective, which is why completely. Every time you see an IGN game or like an IGN review or like a GameSpot review, I can't believe GameSpot is still doing games reviews. That's ridiculous.
Good for them.
Who uses that website? Have you ever heard anyone say like, oh, GameSpot gave this a 9 out of 10?
It's
that's ridiculous.
If you Google it and you don't like the first review that comes up, and you scroll down to like the third one,
I think GameSpot makes all of its revenue off people spelling GameStop wrong. I think, but so I kind of go on. I go with a vibes-based review. So it's basically like when I played the game.
So what you're saying is buy GameSpot stock right now.
I think the main thing is just really whether or not you enjoyed playing the game. And I think that can come from a bunch of different things, which is why it's important when you're doing these reviews to kind of judge it from like an objective perspective, which is why I like having different criteria. Because if you ask me to rank any game, like if you ask me to rank a game I love,
it's going to be a conversation.
I'll give it a 10 out of 10. If you gave me Elden Ring, I would give it a 10 out of 10. And if you ask me, well, does it have original gameplay? Like, no, it's Dark Souls with a jump button. Does it have good graphics? Not really. Like the art style is kind of mid. It's like, oh, is the game narratively compelling? I could not tell you anything about that game's story. Oh, is the actual like overarching like world building interesting? And it's like, I'm pretty sure you fight the same boss like 8 or 9 times. The sound design though is really good. And it's like, okay, that makes the game a 10 out of 10. It's like, no, well, it's vibes based, right? Because even though the gameplay isn't original, it is really, really fun. It's a really satisfying gameplay loop, and you get to experience it in new ways, I guess. You know, it's like Mario. Like the core gameplay is very samey. As far as the art style, new worlds is very interesting.
I feel like the two sides section right now is Brian's like, let's break down every part of the game and see what like makes it a good game. It's like, I just want to have a good time.
I mean, I want to have a good time too, but like I want to get into the minutia of like why I thought this was like. I want to dissect, because I might not even know why I think it's good, but talking more in depth about these things will make me either appreciate a game more or be like, you know what, like.
But my thing is,
maybe it wasn't as good, but I think your point is you don't like the idea of maybe it wasn't as good by dissecting it.
No, I think
if I had a good
fine.
time playing it, then it was
my thing is, in order to dissect a frog, you got to kill it first, right? Like that's the thing. So like, in order for me to break down what
I mean, you don't have to, but then it's pretty cruel.
In order for me to break down what I love about a game, I think it requires me to sort of take a step back from liking the game or not, which I think is a good thing, because otherwise it would just be me giving the games I really liked high scores and the games I didn't really like low scores. So I think having more objective criteria is definitely.
Hey everybody, Zian over here from Nintendo Life, and today we're here to share with you our review of Death's Door on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this review was originally written by Mitch Vogel for NintendoLife.com, but was reworked into this video by me.
Rip that video from Nintendo Life. That is.
Hear them talking.
Do you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, it's just me showing something.
Cool. I didn't change it on this.
Despite all the innovation that frequently takes place in the indie space, there's an awful.
Mute that. Okay.
Nice.
See, I wouldn't have known that if we didn't have a producer. Yeah.
All right. So, Death's Door. In terms of art style, I think they did an okay job. It wasn't really anything too fresh, you know.
Art style, you're saying?
Yeah. It felt very.
It looks good.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks fine. I don't really think there were any moments where I was like,
we got to get out of the way really quick too. Apparently, according to Spencer, the best way to rate everything is out of 7.
Rank things, because it gives you like a clean middle. You have a clean middle, which is 5, and then you have like halfway points between like 1 and 5 and 5 and 7. So if you're going from 1 to anything, it would have to be 7.
Should I be putting bullet points in here, or are we just doing a strict number?
No, I think let's just do a number.
Okay.
And if we want to figure out why, we can always refer back to this video.
Okay. So,
I would give Death's Door. Sorry, 4 is the midpoint, not 5. 4 is the midpoint. I would give Death's Door, for art style, maybe a 5.
I was gonna say 4.
Maybe.
It is a little fun. It hits its vibe well. I think it does. I like honestly, like a huge selling factor for me is like the kind of like neon red weapons you have.
Yeah,
it makes all like the combat
cool.
feel a little more. One, it makes it feel a little like cooler and more like visceral. You can see when you hit things. It's also easy to see where your hitbox is.
That's true.
Because this bright red stands out against the more like dark and drab kind of colors of the rest of the game. I think it utilizes color pretty well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the lighting too is pretty good.
The enemy design is fine.
I think we commented on this
like.
a few times. They had an issue where they were like reusing enemy assets, and then like they would change the color, but nothing would be different. Which was like a weird choice. It's like kind of breaking the.
I feel like saying Death's Door art style wise is, I do think it's above average. Like it looks better, I think, than most like indie games I play in its price range.
Yeah.
Like there are some that are way more beautiful, but it looks good. It's a good looking game for sure. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks above average.
Yeah.
I like honestly like the textures and shading and stuff is like it does look good. So I think a 5 is
I have
fair
personal
for this.
beef with like 3D isometric camera. I just don't really like that for a game. It makes it kind of annoying if you can't move it. But
okay, so you're fine with it in a game where you're controlling with the mouse, where you're clicking where to go, because generally you're free to move the camera with like WASD.
Having the ability to move the camera around,
I can see
like
that,
to rotate the camera even, opens up the game dimensionally. And I feel like if you're going to give me a corner view, you have to be very, very careful with how you're directing the character. And I don't think the game really did a great job of that.
Now, does that fit into art style, or does that fit more into gameplay mechanics?
I think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, so we'll talk more on that when we get to gameplay mechanics.
Sound design. Oh, nice.
I like that it just made. It's made. Yeah, when I do 5 out of 7, it's trying to.
I love Excel.
May 7th. I have to like
you have to change the data type.
Yeah.
Format. Yeah. So if you right click it, right click the box, and then you go to number format. If you hit Control 1.
No.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then if you change it to general, that should be fine. All right, then change it to.
Sweet.
All right, we're just gonna have to ditch the out of 7. Is that like the solution here?
Well, no, because if we did out of 5, it would just do the same thing, but with a different month. What if we just do text?
Yeah, that should fix it.
Cool.
Okay.
And we need to make that way bigger. Make it about the same size as the desk. I'll shrink each row when we're done with it. Okay, sound design. Should we listen to music from the game?
I don't remember anything sound design wise for this game. I feel like it was not.
We did play it a while ago, but I feel like nothing stood out too much. Here we'll have some Death's Door music playing here. The music is. I do remember this theme. I like this theme.
It was fine. I mean, I didn't hate it. It's just I didn't really get anything from it. I feel like.
That's fair. Like, I feel like Pothead had a good theme. It's, you know what? I think it is generic fantasy indie game
It
music.
feels like they had a composer write a bunch of B-track music. That's how it feels. Like the Kevin MacLeod, like royalty free.
Yeah, I get that.
Kevin MacLeod, yeah.
Like it's gonna be like I feel like I'm gonna hear this in like a YouTube video, like an advertisement for like a cheap mobile game.
Yeah.
Have you played King's Crash 3?
It fits the vibe, but it's nothing special. As far as like sound design with like attacks
It's
and
fine.
enemies, I think maybe a 4 out of 7.
I would give
right?
it mid out of
Yeah.
7.
Would that? Yeah, that would be the 4.
Yeah. This is why you need out of 7, because 5 is not the middle of a 1 to 10 grading scale.
Yeah,
5
but
is, 5 is worse than
sure.
5.5.
But oh
5.5
my
is
god,
the
it's
true
doing
low.
the thing again. I have to do it for every box.
Yeah. Yeah, Excel sucks. That's why every time they give me those rating surveys, they're like, how did you like this? How did you like using Excel today? I give it zeros. Like,
All right, so we're doing
zeros.
okay, but see, I feel like a 6 out of 10 would be good, but a 5 out of 7's too high.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the 10, but I get your point. I get your point. I'm not going to argue.
I love out of 7. It's the best way to Fight Club. 7 out of 7, man. 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7 movie.
Okay. Gameplay and mechanics.
I mean, it was fine. It was like a Souls-like, I guess, right? It was smooth. I think it controlled
well.
Yeah, but it wasn't really anything.
I like the magic. I like the magic meter, like restoring when you get hits. Like
Yeah.
the more you melee,
But
then you can back off and
Do
shoot.
you remember shooting magic with the controller?
I played with mouse and keyboard.
When you shoot with the, wait, was it mouse and keyboard or controller? One of them, like, you couldn't aim. You remember that?
It was the mouse and keyboard, I think, where
Yeah,
you didn't
like,
get
you
like the
were kinda just shooting
reticle,
blind.
like yeah.
Which is really annoying.
But I mean, I think it controlled well. I think
other
combat felt
mechanics
really
were
good
fine.
in the game.
Yeah.
So a point in favor of the camera is secrets. I like the way it played with perspective.
Sure.
Where
Yeah, I
like
think
you'd
there
have
were
to
a few
walk
good
around a
moments
corner
like
that
that.
looked like there probably wasn't anything there, but then it ended up being like an upgrade shrine.
I agree
Like,
with that. I think they only did that like, well,
No, they did it a lot. We
yeah,
just
we
didn't
just didn't
find
experience
them.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair.
Which is not a. I don't think that's a point against them. It's a point against us of just not taking the time to find all
Yeah.
of them.
I would give it like a 5, 6.
I think a 6 is fair. I think it did everything. Like I don't really have you know what? This is definitely goes in the gameplay aspect, and it's going to bring it down to a 5 instead of a 6. A map. There should have been a map in this game.
Yeah, there should have been a
There 100% should have been a map in this
100%.
game.
Yeah.
Pseudo regalia we'll get to later about the map issue, but whatever. This game should have had a map.
Yeah, this game
100%.
should have a map. Yeah.
It definitely would have
least,
sped
like,
up
an
our
area map.
playthrough.
I
Like
need at
yes,
least
an area map would
so
have
I
been
know how to
very
get to where
nice.
we're going. Yeah.
So for that,
5
I
out
will
of
give it a
7.
5 out of 7.
Yeah. 5 out of 7. Fine game, but you know.
First on this rating, looking at Death's Door and looking at images. A minute ago. So
It's not. I mean,
It's a
It
good
wasn't
game,
a bad
super
game.
worth playing. I
Wasn't
think
a
it's
bad
very
game.
worth playing, especially because you'll play it in a weekend and not 4 months like Spencer
Sure.
and I.
if you can get it for $15 or less,
It's on Game Pass, so
then yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
so
I would play
it's
the
just-
game.
all right. I wouldn't go higher than a 4 for the narrative. I would hear an argument for a 3, but I think it was average. I mean, it was fine. There were moments where, like, I thought the best storytelling happened in the Urnwich area and then at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
But also, like, the final boss kind of just exposition dumps before you fight him.
I think the individual areas had good stories. I don't think they were cohesive literally at all. I don't really think there was any overarching element of like that. I was like, oh,
The giant crow turning on you was like, oh, I mean, that
yeah,
makes
like, oh,
sense.
I'm shocked.
Like,
I'm absolutely surprised.
Yeah. That being said, it wasn't a bad story. Like, so you know, I don't think I would go. 3.
I thought
it wasn't a bad story.
I thought the Frog King was like he was like a cool enemy. I think that the Urnwitch was like really cool. Like she eats people. Like that's cool.
Yeah, and then like the Urnwitch actually had layers
like,
too.
a dead husband
Like
and you're
yeah, you find
finding
the old
these
engagement
items.
ring.
Yeah,
and,
like, that was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I would give it a 4.
I think a 4 is fair.
I think their storytelling ability was there. I think the narrative was not.
I think that's fair. Yeah, the conveyance of the story wasn't great, but the story had good bones to it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that brings us to what's that? 8
So-
was 18 out of 7. Well, I mean, you have to divide. What's 18 divided by 4? 4.5.
It's a
4.5 out of
Yeah.
7.
2 4s, 2 5s, yeah.
Is that how we're doing a 4.5 out of 7 for the overall then?
7, I would give it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's fair.
This is reminding me. Do you at all remember Board Game Brian's board game podcast?
No, he had one of those?
Yeah, he would rank the board games using the 2 decimal system.
Yeah. That's really fun.
Yeah. I think I can maybe just do this
Yeah, and then
overall
change
right
them
now,
all
right?
to
And then just change it to
I
the-
think so. I don't use Excel. I use Google Sheets for this
So, I mean,
specific reason.
same. But we're on our library stuff, which means
Yeah, we
to
have to use
Microsoft. Okay, let's shrink up this
All right, cool.
Death's Door with an overall 4.5 out of 7. I think that's fair. I think it's an above average indie game. It's not like the best indie game I've ever played. I think people really love this game. I think it's overrated by a lot of people.
I've never
I think
heard
it's
of
worth
anybody
playing.
that knows this game.
If you
so
look
would know
into
better than me.
the opinion behind this game, people love it. I think it's good. I think you should play it.
It was
I don't
fine.
think it's like the best indie game I've ever played. I don't even definitely. If I looked back on the year, I definitely would not be the best indie game. that
4.5
came
out
in
of
the
7
year.
fits my vibes based rating. I would say that's about where I land on it.
Oh, that'll be interesting to see. Like, maybe you should give your vibes-based rating of the game off rip, and we'll see how it compares to the analyzed rating.
I think that's a good idea. I like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So
Tissue.
here, let's add.
Can you run to the back room? Like paper towels or something? My allergies are like destroying me.
Should I have someone let me back in?
There should be like a roll of paper towels on the kitchen sink. What? Oh yeah. you
Yeah,
can
just let
lock
him
it
back
with
in
the
when he comes.
Paper.
Or you could just stick the trash can in front of. Yeah. I don't know how to do a line break in here.
For what?
Like, I thought it would be shift enter, but that's not working.
What are you trying to do?
Make a line break so I can have the rating and then have your vibes-based rating in the same line.
Oh, I actually have no idea how to do that. I would have
Me
just done
either.
shift enter as well.
Okay. Well, your vibes-based was a 4.5, and that's what we.
Yeah, that about fits. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get the Solar Ash stuff queued up. Death's Door. I'm just gonna delete this. Yeah. Where's the video? Death's Door video. Okay. So let's queue up some Solar Ash music.
Yeah, just look at the game. Cool.
Solar Ash. Oh, I didn't know Disaster Piece did all of the music for this game. But that makes sense because that definitely fits the Disaster Piece vibe.
I would say Solar Ash on my vibes scale is probably like a 5, 6 maybe. Like 5.5 probably.
Okay.
I would put it around
Okay.
5.5.
So let's see.
I love the art style for this game.
Yeah, me too. It's
really
at least a 6, possibly a 7.
I
think this game was beautiful.
I would give it like a solid 6.
It was like stylistically spot on.
Yeah, really good.
The animations looked beautiful.
Yeah.
For a game based around movement, all the movement looked so fluid.
Yeah.
Like the grappling stuff looked great.
I think like the targeting that was like really
Yeah.
good.
Let me just get the gameplay video up. In case anyone is watching who didn't see us play any of these games, we will be playing a little gameplay video for you, so that you can get an idea of the game. So we got the logo up, and we have Solar Ash. I'm gonna loop it. And I think I just have to mute it.
Solar Ash originally released on the PS4 and the 5. It was a title I picked up.
Muted. Cool. And let's shrink it down to the corner here. Thank you for bearing with me. And okay. So yeah, art style, beautiful game. Like, is it cell shaded? Like, I don't even really know. Like,
I would say so.
it is. It doesn't have like the
cel-shaded.
thick, like the thick lines like around all of the characters that I think you sometimes expect from cell shading.
Sure.
games.
I would say it's like Wind Waker cell shaded. That's what it reminds
Okay.
me of.
Yeah.
So I would say art style, I would give it a solid 6.
Okay, I'll yeah, 6 is fine for me.
I think it looked.
I think, yeah. We're not, because for these categories, we're not doing decimals. For the 4 categories, it's got to be a whole number.
Yeah, I would say so.
So I think
If we could do decimals, I would give it a 6.5, but
I think a 6 is fair. I would hear an argument for a 7 if you really loved it, but there are games that fit their art style better.
yeah, for sure.
Sound design,
Like I would say better than average.
I like
5 maybe.
it's not like my favorite, like in terms of music.
I think
like,
they accomplished the goal of like
they set the
this is an empty
atmosphere
world.
well.
I think
Yeah,
they did that well.
which often doesn't like allow for like the most like intricate music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But
I would say like 5.
you know what,
5,
like
maybe like 5.5.
as
I'm
I'm
not
watching
comfortable
like the
giving it a
attack
6.
animations, I don't really remember, and I feel like in like the most iconic sound design things, you can remember like weapon attacks and noises like
I can
that,
hear
right?
the
Like,
sound of Link charging up his sword.
totally, yeah. Like, yeah. I can hear Yoshi doing a ground pound.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like if I don't remember it, it probably means it wasn't terrible, but
the
it wasn't
music
great.
was fine. I think the sound design, like it wasn't really anything to write home about. It wasn't memorable, but it wasn't bad. It was serviceable. It did its job.
I think that's a 4 then,
Yeah,
right? If
yeah,
it's
like a
not,
4.
yeah. It definitely it did its job. Yeah, it fit the environment. It wasn't out of place, but it wasn't. We weren't talking about the great sound design of the game.
True. Yeah, I think it was good.
I think the gameplay mechanics for this, I think
would be
they are.
fine
I think
giving it
it
a
might be
7.
Yeah,
But I think it's also important to say that like this rating system, for me at least, is kind of contained within the show. Like it's I put this on a separate.
yeah. No,
system
are
than I
these
would
the
for,
best
like, games
mechanics
I
I've
liked.
played in any game
in
ever?
any game ever.
No,
I wouldn't put this in S tier. Like if this was all the games I played, I would put it in like A tier.
Yeah,
But like for
yes.
the games that we've played, I would say it's probably the best. It's,
One-
without a doubt, it's the best.
One, for the games that we've played, and 2, in terms of what the game is trying to accomplish, I think it nailed it.
And like what they
I
had
think-
to work with.
Yes.
You know, like this is not a AAA studio. Like I think I would give that like a 7.
I think the
7 out of 10.
movement felt incredible. Once you started to like get a handle on it, the boss fights were so cool. Like they felt difficult, but not because it was designed poorly. They felt difficult because you needed tight, specific timing on your movement patterns throughout, and like
True.
it felt clean. Like the whole game felt really good.
True. I think
I would give it a 7. I think on the
7 out of
gameplay
7.
mechanics.
We'll give it a 7. We'll give it a 7.
I do like that was the strong part of the game. That's like
that was
and
the
the
strength.
environments are what we were talking about the whole time we played. We didn't talk that much about the sound because the sound was fine. A 2. The story, maybe even a 1. The storytelling was so bad.
And
We
you know what the
didn't
thing
care.
is was
They couldn't
the
make me
ending
care.
was interesting enough that I kind of went like, oh man, like maybe I should go back and pay attention. But I just like
No, but like make me pay attention, make me want to care.
the fact that it
was
took until
so
the very
boring.
end, like the twist ending for me to care. It's
Yeah.
like
You know what? The ending
not
was
good.
cool.
Not good.
That'll make me give it a 2 though, because if it wasn't for that ending, it's an easy 1.
probably a 2. Yeah.
All right.
So curious in how the game. And
It was like a twist ending. I honestly
It was
don't
a
really
cool.
remember.
It's kind of a twist ending that when it happened, you're like, this all makes sense. But they told it in an interesting way, and it was more intricate than I had thought it
Yeah,
would be.
it was like it was like kind of like a Fight Club meme at the end where it's like, oh, you're actually crazy. You've been killing your friends this whole time. I think that was what happened. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, and like Big Bad was you.
or
It was good though.
So that I think I did that math right. That
think it's
works out to a
4.5.
4.
Is it 4.75?
Well, this was 18. This was 19. So it would have to be a 0.25.
19 out of 28. I guess so. Yeah.
Well, you just do 19 divided by 4 because it's going to be over 7. no
I
matter
was
what.
doing it. So I did 6 4 is 5 out of 7. 7 brings it up to a 6 out of 7, and then 2 out of 7 it would be halfway between 6 and 2.
Why don't we just take a calculator out?
But like I think 19 over
6 plus 4 plus 7 plus 2 equals 19. Divided by 4 is 4.75. Yeah. So, which that makes
Okay.
sense. I think it was a little bit better than Death's Door.
It
wasn't
fine.
immaculately better, but Death's Door was.
Yeah.
I think this all makes sense. Death's Door was a more rounded game.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that fits around where.
And it came in just under your vibes.
Yeah.
Your vibes, you
I
said
would
a
say
5
like
to
5,
6.
6. Yeah.
It really was the storytelling that killed the game.
Yeah.
And
But also, like, that's not really. I think when you're playing a game, like, if the gameplay is really good, I think that's something that doesn't really matter as much. You know?
we talked about this while playing this game.
Yeah.
You were like, "There's 3 things that matter in a game." It was like the gameplay, the narrative,
And how well the game is like made, like whether or not you're running into bugs and stuff when you're
Right. And you're like, as long as it has 2 of those 3 things,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna
don't
be
really
a good
care.
game.
Yeah.
If it only has 1 of those, it has to be really good
Yeah.
in order for you to. Yeah. So that's
That was the
fair.
game. The game was smooth. It
I
actually
get
came
the
from the game
vibes
better.
sentiment being better because, like, yeah, the storytelling was not good, but that like didn't really matter as much because the rest
Yeah,
of the
'cause it
game
didn't
was really fun.
affect- Yeah, exactly.
Which is fair, but I also think if you're trying to judge games in a wider lens in comparison to, because I think the point of games reviews should be at least, how does this game compare to every other video game you could choose to play right now?
Sure.
And I think breaking it down this way helps because if you care about narrative, you look at Solar Ash and be like, okay, while it might be fun, maybe it's not what I'm looking to play right now. But if from a vibes point of view, you're like, yeah, it was like a 6 out of 7. It was pretty good. Someone might go play it and then be like, yeah, it was fine, but the storytelling sucked.
Yeah.
So there's merit to both ways to rate it for sure. But I think breaking down the categories can help somebody figure out which game for them personally is worth
I
it
would
to
agree
play.
with that.
All right, so we're on to Pseudo Regalia. And let me get the Pseudo Regalia vid up. I think this will be an interesting one. This will definitely be there'll be some takes here. Get the video up.
I know.
You know this game?
I recognize it.
Yeah, I definitely have some takes about this game. I wouldn't describe it as particularly hot, but
We gave most of. I feel like we are just kind of recapping things we've said about all these games as we play them.
I think it's just
but
good
it's
to have,
nice
like,
to have it
master
in a
document to refer to. Yeah.
Okay.
I think my take on this is fair. I think I can recognize when my takes on a game are unfair. I think my takes on Death's Door might be a little bit unfair, but I think my Pseudo Regalia takes are pretty fair. I think my Solar Ash takes are definitely unfair. I did not like that game when I was playing it, but
Really?
I didn't really like it. I didn't really enjoy it. But like looking back on it, I was like, oh, that game's kind of fun. It was kind of a fun game.
On Death's Door?
Pseudo.
Pseudo?
Solar Ash.
Yeah. So no,
I didn't
Solar
really love
Ash
Solar Ash when I was playing it. I don't
was-
remember why.
I think it was a really good game. I recommend people.
It was
play
pretty fun. I think if I replayed it on my own, I'd probably enjoy it more. That's it. You're on the bottom.
Oh. Am I? Why is it still
'cause you're
showing that?
moving-
Shouldn't it
you're
be
moving
under
picture.
the?
You're moving the picture.
That's why. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Let's push this up so we can actually see the Regalia in the rankings. And we just make the picture a little smaller so we can see the shrub. Cool. Okay. Pseudo Regalia art style. I think it's a 7 out of 7. I think it goes for the PlayStation 1 art style, and it nails it. It looks like one of the coolest PlayStation 1 games I would have played in the late 90s, early 2000s. If there was like more than one person making it, could it have been like more polished? Sure, but it doesn't need to be more polished because the point of it is to look like a PlayStation 1 game. I would hear a 6 out of 7. I would not
give
go
it-
lower than a
I would
6,
give it
though.
a. The only reason I'm thinking 6 is because I feel like the big issue I was running into was the textures and the way that they applied them to the world. Was it felt a lot of the time like the checker texture. A lot of the time you would enter a room and there would be like a table on the floor, but the table is covered in the texture, and it's like I can't really differentiate this from the architecture of the room.
I feel like that was a
I don't know if that's
choice,
intentional.
though.
That's like the thing. It's hard for me
Okay.
to tell whether or not that was intentional.
I'll go with the 6 because I can recognize also that like I think
they went for the vibe well.
Working on this, it would have been better. Also, because the whole game takes place in this castle, the environments are a little same.
So I also want to say, if we're putting art style in like art design or art direction, I think some of the choices for like enemies and stuff like that were weird. I don't know what that would fall under, but like you're in a castle, you would think castle-based enemies. And it's like, okay, well, there are swords and there are like suits of armor, but then also there are like chickens. And eggs that have music and like things carrying tubas around, and it's like, why are you here?
To me, it felt like weird or wacky, like Disney, almost Beauty and the Beast vibes, like things around
like a haunted
the castle were kind of just coming to life.
That makes sense, but I would expect like candelabras and like clocks, you know. Not like a little dude with a tuba. I don't know what that was. That was so weird.
I still think it's beautiful though. Like,
I think it was a good game.
I'm gonna.
Oh, and I didn't love the UI. I didn't love the UI. I feel like I had some complaints about that. But I think
the UI was like an interesting Art Deco style.
I feel like it should have
necessarily fit with the rest.
Not even that. I think the design was fine. I think it should have been lower fidelity because I feel like it looked a little bit too crisp.
It looked too clean
for the era.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Which was odd.
I loved the sound design. I think it had like,
I don't remember
like the weapon, like when you throw the sword, it made like a really satisfying.
The sound cues were really good.
Like,
yeah, I would probably agree with that.
And like when you did like the special jumps and stuff, they had like the animations and sounds went really well together.
I think those were good sound
super
cues.
satisfying.
I would say that the sound cues were good.
I think I would go a 6 out of 7 because the music was really good too. Oh, I didn't even switch over.
I do remember liking the music for a lot of the areas. Like I remember when we went into the
is on Spotify.
like when we went into the
it's cool.
The theater. Oh
no, it's not.
When we went into the theater, I remember thinking, like, oh, this is like cool. Like I love this. I love the way this sounds. Like it was very interesting. Just pull it up on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I'm just. This is. Hold on. I'm just gonna. That for a second. It's screen sharing the Chrome window. Not gameplay, soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember distinctly like there were multiple points in time where I was like, oh, this is like perfect vibes for like what they're trying to go for. So yeah, I think 6 is fair. I think 6 is good.
I like the art in the game being like the, you know, arts, like the visual design and sound design, I think were great. I think both of those aspects of this game were fantastic.
For sure, yeah.
It really picked an aesthetic and nailed it. Now we get to some of the more negative aspects of the game.
I think the gameplay in terms of movement, I think was fine. I don't think it was bad.
Agreed. Some of the moves were a little janky. Like the jumping off the wall was a little silly.
Yes.
It didn't feel good. It didn't like start to feel much better as we went through. It just didn't feel great most of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds a little loud.
Sounds good now.
It did, which I like. You could argue that like it's supposed to be this way or whatever, but it gave you no direction. You had no idea where
it was very directionless,
and that can be fine if you give me a map. That coupled with no map, so was just like. I know we played the game over a couple weeks, so every time we're like, oh, where are we going? It doesn't matter.
But then you get to the underbelly, and it's like, this is not navigatable. This is not something a person could navigate.
No.
Unless you were literally being a human cartographer, like, and you're just sitting there, like, taking notes.
And
Like,
there are
that's
games
not
for
something you
that.
should have to do.
There are games where if that's your thing, going into the game, you're going to have to chart your own map.
Yeah.
This is not one of those
But
games.
like this, yeah, it
This
just felt
game
very.
is supposed, in my opinion, this game should be focused on
Like
fun
the
movement,
platforming.
good art style,
Yeah.
platforming, minimal combat, but the combat's fun enough. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's just like there's bones of a good game in terms of the mechanics here.
Yeah.
It just they didn't nail it. And again, like I don't want to keep making like an excuse. Like I know it was like a one-person operation, but like we're judging this compared to every other game you could be playing.
Yeah.
Like the
would
wall
say-
running was really cool, right? But you get that super late game.
Yeah, but you get a late
most
game,
of the
exactly.
cool mechanics in the game, like
And-
you get after you've already super struggled
Yes.
to deal with mechanics you already
100%.
have.
That is my biggest complaint because I feel like I say this all the time. If I have to wonder whether or not there's something more I should have before attempting this, your game is doing something wrong. It should be very clear what you can and cannot do
Right.
with or without certain powers.
So if we're
that was
looking at
very
this as essentially a 3D Metroidvania, which I feel like it's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's all one open world. There are areas you're locked out of until you find other upgrades, and then you can go back to that area.
Yes. It should be
Generally in a
clear.
game, like if you look at some of the better modern
Yeah, like
Metroidvanias,
for
Hollow Knight,
example.
Ori,
I can tell when I need a double jump.
you can tell,
It's
when
too
you
far.
are missing the mechanic that you need to get to this area.
Yeah, or
There-
skill issue.
I remember very specific areas in mostly Ori. There's a couple in Hollow Knight too, where I got somewhere I know I shouldn't have been. Like I know I exploited a mechanic to get something early. And that's super fun. Like that's a really fun thing to be like, I know I wasn't supposed to get here yet, and it's kind of fun that I did.
Yeah.
But
and I don't
at
think
no
there's anything
point
wrong
was I
with-
like, am I just bad? Like, am I supposed to be able to make this now?
Exactly.
No, it was clear to me that like I'm not supposed to be here yet, but I think if I exploit these mechanics the right way, I can get there. This
Yeah.
game didn't have that. You're
Yeah,
like,
for
am I supposed to be able to do this? I don't know.
100%. Yeah.
I would say a 3. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they're
was thinking
terrible.
three.
They're
It wasn't
below
bad, but
average.
yeah.
The map really hurts it. Like no map
100%.
is.
I think the fact
insane.
if you have a game where community members take it upon themselves to make their own map
We were
and
looking
share
at
them,
Steam
I think
maps for
that's
the game.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's bananas. That should never be a thing.
I would like.
Especially because you have the game files on your computer. Literally, all you have to do is make them super flat and then convert it to like a black and white PNG,
Yeah.
and then just like include it in the UI somewhere.
It's
like,
crazy.
It's not
Like
hard.
I didn't think beforehand that I would have given this game a 3 for the mechanics and the gameplay because it was fun to play.
Yeah.
But it only got fun after a certain point.
It was fine after you get to the point where you have all the superpowers,
Yes,
and then it's like
yes.
fun. But narrative,
2?
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, like there's
I don't know what the story was supposed to be.
the little like goat guys you talk to are like funny. They say some silly things, and it's like interesting to hear what they have to say.
But I don't
We're
know,
a
like,
princess. There was a
what are you
princess.
doing?
We're
Yeah.
a princess. We fought a
Like, am I
princess. I don't
supposed to
really
be-
know.
Like dead, or is this like the afterlife?
Is it a dream?
It's just really
there's clocks.
unclear. Why is that door so big? You know, like what's
Is it
going
a
through
1?
that door? What's going through the door? That makes it so
Can things
big.
have a 0? Because if things can have a 0, I'd give this a 1. I
would
wouldn't give
say,
it a
no.
0,
The whole point of the
but-
skill is that it's 1 through 7.
1
It
through
has to be
7,
1 through
okay.
7, yeah.
It's still maybe a 1.
I
Maybe a 2. Because like it I think worse than a story that like is non-existent or hard to understand.
It's like
a story that
like, it
tries
hints
to
at
be a
there
good
being a
story and is
story.
like bad or cringe.
Yeah.
This is just like it doesn't convey anything.
Which I think I
there's
don't
a
think they
cool
were trying
story
to.
in
I think
there.
this was like really supposed to be at its core like a tech,
demo,
which
yeah.
is okay. But like we get to the last boss battle and it's a princess, and I'm like, what the heck is going on
Yeah,
here? Like
yeah.
what is happening?
I think a 2.
Yeah, the themes of the game were just kind of odd.
Yeah. All right, so that's 11 plus 5, 16. That's a 4 out of 7, which, yeah, I think this was a slightly above average indie game. Indie games used to mean a lot more. They're kind of a dime a dozen now. There's so many to play.
Yeah.
So many of them are kind of just pooped out by studios. This one, you can tell there's passion behind it. It hits some of its notes really well. It misses on others pretty hard. But it's a $5 game.
Yeah.
and it's
For $5, I would probably.
it's a
buy it.
great weekend play.
Yeah, it's short.
You
enough
can play
to
it in a day. You could play it twice in a weekend, and like
I think this is the only game I will ever say this about. If it was longer, I would not recommend buying it, which feels crazy to say. But if this game took like another day, to
no,
finish,
that's I think
feel
that's
like
fair.
I wouldn't get it.
Because like you said, it really does feel more like a tech demo than a
Yeah.
full game. So like I would say you could probably, if you sat down in one sitting, you could probably beat this game in 3, maybe 4 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is fine. Did you play? What is it? Mario, like Bowser's Fury, like the
No.
little DLC they put on the Switch version of 3D World.
I did not.
Aiden, did you play it?
No, but I'd seen it. I
Okay.
watched it.
It's essentially a 3D Mario tech demo of what 3D Mario would feel like if it was just all conventional Mario power-ups. So like you get like the cat power-up that's in like the 3D games. You get, just like Fire Flower Mario. You get like Tanuki Mario. But it's all in like the 3D traversable environment.
Interesting.
And it's basically one open world. You're basically in an ocean, and there's like, I don't know, like 10 islands, and each island has like its own little puzzles to solve
That's cool.
on it. I was like, if this turned into a fully fledged 3D Mario game, it would be incredible. Like, because using those power-ups feels really cool. But the format that was in, the 3 hours it took to play it was plenty. It was like, that was cool. I got a really nice taste for what that could be like.
Sure.
But I wouldn't have wanted to keep playing in that same environment. That's how this game feels too. There's one environment, you have areas to travel to that have little different gimmicks to them.
Yeah.
But the taste I got was perfect. If they can take the success of this and like parlay it into a more fleshed out game, I think it could be great.
Yeah.
This, as it was fine. Definitely worth $5, worth sinking 3 or 4 hours into. If you really loved it, you can replay it, but there's not much more to see.
Yeah, I would
beyond
say, I would probably never replay this.
Personally, like, while Solar Ash was ranked higher on this list, Solar Ash is on Game Pass, so like play it on Game Pass. If Solar Ash wasn't on Game Pass, it's a $40 game. I would buy this over Solar Ash, definitely, just from a value perspective. But because Solar Ash is on Game Pass, like I would definitely play that over this. But the $5 helps this game a lot.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our last game that we
Pizza
have
Tower.
actually played.
Very recent. Yeah.
I know a little bit more. I don't have to Google this one.
All right, let me just get rid of the video. And we got Pizza Tower. And I'm not going to put the Pizza Tower video up. We've been playing it the past 4 weeks on stream. If you're in here, you likely were watching us play it on stream. Okay, art style. Is it a 7?
I don't know if I'd give it a 7.
What is a 7 then? Because the past 3 games we've loved the art styles of, and they're at this point now would be all 6.
A 7 is like, are there things that could have been better? I'm trying to think. I don't necessarily think there are things that could have been better,
The enemies were great.
but I give it a 7.
It was so wacky, and like it hit the wacky vibe perfectly. It's it's like almost Uncanny Valley in a way. Like there's something unsettling yet charming about it all at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything that I disliked about it.
Like I think it went for something very specific, and it hit.
Yeah, I think it accomplished
But
its goals.
like what else is a 7? Because I'm like curious on that topic now. Is
That's
Wind
tough-
Waker a
that's a
7?
tough question. 7 is really hard because I think in order for a game to be a 7, I would give like maybe Super Mario 3D Land. I think I would give that game a 7 because like I feel like what contributes to a
about-
7 is whether or not you're taking advantage of your art style to the maximum of its ability.
What's
So like
a
a 7 is
AAA
like
7?
above and beyond.
I mean, I guess Nintendo is AAA,
A
but
AAA
like
7.
different. Like is like one of the Last of Us games a 7 in art style?
Red Dead Redemption 2,
Okay.
probably.
What?
No, well, I was thinking like my take is I feel like this kind of brought like the early 2000s like Newgrounds feeling back into like,
Yeah.
shit, and I feel like that's a big kind of like you don't see that a lot nowadays at all. So it's like and it brought it into like kind of a mainstream form. And I think that's a big thing where it's like,
Yeah.
this is not something that we haven't seen before, but it's
Sure.
reestablishing something to
Right,
whole
but and it
generation.
hit that perfectly,
and
right?
I
Like
think
like
it
you said,
really
you saw
got-
it, and it reminded you exactly of
Yes.
what it's trying to remind
It definitely
you
hit the
of.
vibe. I would say I would be fine giving it a 7. Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to think about like a AAA game that's trying to look hyper realistic being a 7, because in 10 years the graphics in that style are going to look so much better and the old game's
So,
going to look outdated.
I think it's definitely, you have to judge things as a product of their time. Because I feel like I would rank Majora's Mask. I would probably put that at a 7 too. Because if I'm thinking about it, when that game came out, not only was it like the graphics were really good, but I think that it
The
captured
environment, the
vibe
feeling,
so
yeah.
the atmosphere of that game
Yeah.
is probably the best out of any Zelda game ever. I think that it nailed the
I
atmosphere.
think
of,
that
like, you like death is coming and you just have to sit here and dread it.
number 2,
So good.
I think for you,
think they
number
did
2
a
would
really
probably be Twilight Princess. Number 2 for me
Sure.
is Breath of the Wild, because Hyrule feels empty and kind of devastated,
Yeah.
but still like
But, like, there's
vibrant,
life
beautiful.
there. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like
You feel alone in the game, which is how you should feel in that game. And like I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I thought it was a better game than Breath of the Wild, but
yeah.
there's so many people. You have sages fighting with you. Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild really felt like you are on a journey alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
So
I think there are
sorry, I
areas
got
of
sidetracked by
Majora's Mask
what
that
is a
they do.
7 out of 7 art style.
Yeah,
But,
I would
like,
give it a 7. Sound design, I would give it like a 5 or a 6 probably.
I think a 5 is fair.
I think the music was really good. I don't think it did anything like special though.
The music's good. The taunt sound is fun.
I think
Just
yeah,
like that,
yeah, it's like cute.
Like
yeah. The game was like it did its job, I think.
it's like definitely like low fidelity sound, which is
Yeah.
what it's trying to be. But for me, that kind of got like annoying sometimes. Just like the like stock screams that just happen. I'm like, okay, that's funny the first couple times, but then it gets like, personally, just at least for me, it gets like grating after a little bit.
Yeah.
I do think it's fun
Oh,
though.
I found out when I finished the game, I made the connection. So pizza time is supposed to be like a pizza delivery guy. That's the point. That's why you're on a timer. And if you listen in the background, you can hear dialogue between two people. One person who apparently didn't order a pizza and the pizza delivery guy knocking on the door. You can literally hear it. If you like listen to the when pizza time
That's
starts.
fascinating.
And I didn't realize that until I replayed it on my own. But that's pretty interesting.
All right.
So
5
I would
out of
say
7.
5, yeah.
Just like Fight Club.
5 out of 7, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Gameplay and mechanics. I'm feeling like a 5 on that.
Yeah, I would
too.
say like 5, 6. I think it did a really good job of like it was like a good speed platformer. I think that my issue is there were some things that were just really, really annoying. And if you're replaying the game, especially as like a
the
speedrunner,
combat and comboing is like,
yeah, not great.
yeah,
And then the big issue that I have is like
the super jump
the
binding.
joystick stuff is like
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
and if you replay the game and you're trying to beat levels in a speedy fashion, and you're like trying to go down from a ledge or something, if you hit down, he dives horizontally,
Yeah. Yeah.
diagonally, which is infuriating. I want to go straight down, do a vertical drop off, okay? But if you're holding down and you're going forward,
It's
just
like a
gonna keep
30
going.
degree, like, yeah.
RT automatically moves you in the direction you're facing. I hate that. Let me move with the stick. And then if I'm holding RT, make me move faster. Don't
Yeah.
automatically
Yeah.
push me.
It's-
That is so annoying.
In general, it's good. It's fun. Things feel fun and wacky and silly.
Yeah.
But there are hiccups.
I
to
think
it.
I think mechanically it was cool. Like the boss fights were cool. I
The
think
boss
Keith
fights were the
Time was
best
really
part of the game,
interesting.
I think the boss fights were super fun.
I really like the idea of running back through a stage on a timer. I think that's
I
pretty
like that too. Yeah.
narrative / storytelling again. I think like this is like got to be really low. I would say it's like a little bit higher. I wouldn't give it a 2 because I could
A 3.
follow it.
I
would
yeah,
give it a
3.
3,
I
but
think
like
it's fair.
there isn't really anything of gravity happening in the story.
No. It's again
and
like
then like they
funny,
do like the
silly,
twist
but, like,
ending, and it's like okay, but I don't even understand.
there was the twist ending was like there was nothing to get twisted over. You're like, Oh, it's a guy who's running through.
It was like,
Pizza
oh, you
Tower
thought
to
it was
get
this pizza
money
guy,
to-
but it's actually a different pizza guy.
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
yeah.
I didn't know either pizza guy, so
Yeah.
you got me, I guess. But like, I don't know what was happening.
Yeah. All right, so that makes this game
think
rank it at a 5 out of 7. Again, just like Fight Club.
All right, not bad overall.
Yeah,
I think
I think this makes sense. We haven't played a game that is like an absolute like banger on stream
Yeah,
yet,
and none of them have been
but none of them have been
like
bad.
dumpsters. You know?
Yeah, every game we played has been above average, which
Yeah.
I think checks out.
I think that's
I'm really curious to see how like Jusant ranks into this.
yeah.
I think it has potential to be the best one we've played. It also could be the worst one we've played.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a bad game, but I could
think
see
it'll
us
be
being like, it's fine. It's a little boring.
And this one rests on Aiden's head because he picked it. So if
That's
it's
true.
bad, we're gonna fire him.
That's true. Yeah.
It could have been.
We can't do that. We would have been playing video, audio every time I pulled the video up if we didn't have Aiden here. We
That's
can't
true.
fire him.
All right, so
All right, now for the real show.
now it's time for Rob. I think we'll have just enough time to play some.
Yeah, you said you need about 30 minutes.
It's about
right?
a half hour for the gameplay cycle. Yeah. So I'm gonna go get some more tissues while you.
Oh, true. I have to actually download
you have to
the
download
game.
it from Steam.
Yeah.
And then I will be right back.
It's in. Yeah, like an hype shower.
Right. So, what do you think about the list, Aiden?
I like it. I think that I see. I wish I knew none of the stories to any of these games because they all sound very. But I'm excited for the next game. I just think.
Me too.
I think
It-
climbing will be cool.
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
I just think it looks pretty. Like it looks like cool, like calm. I guess. I guess after the first time I'm playing, I might even pick it up myself. I think it looks just really pretty.
Do you have Game Pass?
I do. Is it
It's on Game Pass. Yeah.
Look at me, I got a game for tonight. I'm sure I honestly was really like thinking back on it. The Pokemon cassette game also looks really cute. And I kind of wish I just
Oh, cassette beasts.
I liked the battle.
Oh, can you let Spencer in?
I liked the battle screen with like the cassette player. I thought it was so cool.
You played cassette beasts, right?
Yeah, I played it for like 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I played it enough to do a
Now
battle.
you can like combine parts and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
right.
To like make. I think. Okay.
You
yeah.
get like stickers that you can add to the cassette, which changes.
Okay.
That's cool.
It was an interesting game. It wasn't what I was looking for. That's like what I said. It's like it's not a bad game. It's not bad. It's like probably very fun.
You said it
It's
kind of
just
wasn't
not
what
what
I
I was
thought it
looking for.
was, right?
Yeah. It was not at all what I was looking for. All right, so let's talk about Rotmeg. Let's talk about Realm of the Mad God. So, Realm of the Mad God, also known as Realm of the Sad Boy, Realm of the Sad God, Realm of the Fat Boy. It has a bunch of different names that is colloquially called. Most of the fans call it either RotMG or Rotmeg for short.
I like Rotmeg. It's fun.
And it is my favorite game of all time, probably.
That's so
It's
Like a
crazy.
take.
And so it's a MMORPG bullet hell.
A bullet heck.
Yeah, sure. So, and it's been around for, I want to say, 15 years now.
Oh,
I don't remember the
I need
release date.
to turn all the chat and stuff off, right?
13 years. Yeah, I'll show you how to do that.
Name is not Alpha.
No numbers.
Oh, no numbers. But that's my whole thing. Is the 3 instead of the E.
It used to just take your Steam name. I don't know why they changed that. Oh no. Okay, hold on. So this game is 2010, 2011. So it was made for a game jam in 2010.
Okay.
All of the sprite art was done by a guy named Oryx, and they
Orcs? Like from...
Oryx, like Oryx, like the animal. And they basically had this dude Oryx made all of the sprite art for this game, and then there was like a game jam, so they had a bunch of different games basically in this.
Cool.
Just wait for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
they-
it's really a great game, huh?
I'm telling you, this is the worst game ever. I warned you before we started. This is the worst game ever. So you can pick a character, So you can show it on stream because like the chat window censors bad words automatically, and it's probably just going to be bots. So I would not worry about anything inappropriate coming up. What's server?
Both.
Okay. So to start with, originally it was.
Hold on, I gotta change the title to Scrolling Brian.
Oh. I'm gonna change the.
Yes.
And also reviewing the catalog is some of it.
Yep, I'm changing that now.
Gotcha.
So this game is at its core, it's a permadeath bullet hell, and the whole point is basically that you're getting gear, and then you die, and then after you die, you get new gear, and then you keep dying and getting
Diablo.
new gear. It's permadeath Diablo. So if you die, your character is just done forever.
Diablo, how big boys play.
Yeah. So the fun part is when you've sunk
the battleship,
thousands of hours and maybe several years of your life into one character, and then it dies, and then you feel like you've lost a dear friend. And then you get to start
that
over
sounds
again.
great.
It's so fun. I love it. All right. So to start with, I'm just going to go through it. So each character has a different weapon. So there's 3 weapon classes. There's 5 weapon classes. There's 3 armor classes, and each character has a different ability.
Okay.
So the warrior is DPS. They use a sword. Sword is close range. The priest uses a wand, and they have a healing tome. So if you hit spacebar, it heals you and some surrounding characters. They use the wand. That's the longest range. Wizards use stabs. Stabs are the easiest to use because it's like 2 shots in like a serpentine pattern, and it's like moderate to far range. And the spell is like a burst on your cursor, so it like explodes on your cursor and it does like damage to everything. The wizard originally was the first class you started with. That's the starter class. Archer has a quiver which paralyzes or slows your enemies that you hit it with.
So archers are actually kind of like support.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. So every character kind of offers something to the group. When you get to higher level dungeons, DPS is key. So they will actually, there are discords that like run dungeons. That's all they do is they just exist to run dungeons. And one of the main things that you need is warriors, because warriors are the highest DPS class because their ability buffs DPS for everybody in the group. And then the rogue is my favorite. It's the worst character because all the cloak does is it makes you invisible and immune to hits, which sounds really good until you realize that it actually doesn't apply to anybody else. And all of the people that you're standing on top of can get targeted and they can get shot. And if you walk past a person that is not visible and they get targeted, you will take all that damage.
Great.
So it's basically completely worthless. And the dagger's very short range. So you're not going to be able to hit any of your shots unless you are invisible.
There's so many characters.
There are 22 classes, I believe.
Wow.
And originally there was only like 11 or 12. And then they just recently started adding a ton.
I feel like I'm going to play a wizard.
The wizard is by far the easiest.
Cool.
So you can hit play. Awesome. And then there are just some quality
that
of
art
life
on the
adjustments.
screen made it look like it might actually be a good game. This seems like it's so loud. Do I need to read any of this?
No, you can just hit OK. Close out of that. And then you go to the settings, and we got to do some things. So first things first, turn the sound down a little bit. Turn it to like 10% maybe. You don't need it to be on at all, really. So go to...
Hold on, I'm going to close. Aiden, you're on the stream, right?
Yeah.
Let me know once I close out of the menu if that sounds good. You can hear the music and you can hear me talking?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so go to the movement. So I scroll down to where it says General. Use special ability, change that to spacebar. And then change your interact to V.
Where is it? Can I change it to a mouse button?
You shouldn't, but you can.
Okay, why?
Because V is the easiest one to use. So you're only going to be using it sparingly because you really only need it to go into portals and stuff.
Okay.
And you can always just click enter. So like I'm going over portal, I can just click enter or I can hit V. And V is just like right there. Oh, I crashed. But yeah, that's why I set it to V, just because it's the easiest. Then go to video.
Whoa, look at all those cursors.
And then All right, so scroll all the way to the bottom and turn on Particle Master. Scroll up a little bit. Should have done this before the stream. turn on Particle Master. Turn particle effects to low. Okay. Turn game view shadows to off.
Okay.
And then turn off AoE particles, draw text bubbles, ally notification. Just go down the list and just turn everything off.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And then for ally shoot, show high projectiles.
Cool.
Actually change it to hide all. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I don't know where. Oh, and then go to gameplay. And then go to social. And then under hide chat window, just hit on. And then you're all set. And then you can just hit close. All right, cool. So you're in the tutorial right now. So pretty self-explanatory. It's 3D isometric with a movable camera.
It does have a movable camera?
Yeah, so rotate. Oh, you're skipping it.
Cool.
Hit X to move off center.
Oh.
And then you can recenter with Z.
Cool.
And then if you hit X again, it recenters your camera around your player.
Oh, okay. Wait, so when I hit X, can I move this camera?
No.
Oh.
Well, you can rotate it, but you can't move it.
But I can't like move it. Okay.
No, yeah. There's fog of war anyway, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. You can also zoom out if you want to with O, but you can't really see much more.
Oh.
I like to keep it on like one zoom level more than that, so like P, so that hit P, and then that's like where I like to keep it.
Yeah.
Because you can see your character, it's not too small, but like you also can't see much beyond the bounds of. Awesome. So nexusing is a key part of the game. If you start taking too much damage, you should nexus. That's like
you just instantly leave, like you don't have to.
Yeah, so you just go straight back to the portal. Yeah, you just go straight back to the portal. It's basically the main way that you're gonna avoid dying. But it is really hard because at the higher level dungeons, it's basically like if you don't nexus before the point where you should, you're just immediately gonna die. Like you will die faster than you can figure out that you're dying.
Okay.
All right. And then if you hit spacebar, so it does like the spell.
Okay.
So one of my favorite things about this game is that when you get to a higher level, the particle effects are beautiful. Like it just gets better and better. So like unlocking new items and like seeing what they look like when you shoot them is so fun. It's like my favorite part of the game. And if you center your spell burst, it'll explode on top of the person and it'll do like a ton of damage.
Cool.
Because each one of those particles I think does like 35 damage or something. Oh, rings are all the same. So every class uses the same ring.
Okay. Cool. The Exalted Kitchen. Oh, that's the guy.
Oryx, yeah. So they named the big bad guy at the end after the sprite designer. All right, so you can see in the top left, like that quest portrait. That is the guy that you're fighting. So if you hover over it, it'll like show you the name of the guy.
Now, can I just cast any? Oh. Yep. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's when you get to like mid-level, like a lot of the game is about like using cover effectively.
Okay.
But it's also hard now because they added like visibility in some areas. Drag it to your hotbar, to your to, like next to the other one, next to it, next to the blue potions. You got that other box down there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that was a separate box. Okay, thanks.
So those are bound to F and something else. I don't know what the blue potion is. You don't use the blue potions. If you need them, you can click on them. So you can double click on the potion, or you can hit F, and that'll automatically heal you.
I can just shift click on it.
Yeah, or you can shift click, yeah. But you don't want to click on it because that takes too much time. So you should definitely get used to the keybinds. Taking damage is fine. You're going to be taking a lot of damage, and you do heal over time, just naturally.
Oh, okay.
It's your vitality stat will heal you over time. And this is kind of just a dungeon. Just like to get you
Which way I
ready.
go?
Follow the quest portrait. So the quest portrait shows you where in the actual game world the character is. Oh, that's a chest. So they have like loot in them. You got like a new
Cool.
staff.
And this is not in my inventory right now?
No, it's on the floor.
And should I leave it?
It drops on the floor if you just go directly from one to the other. But yeah, you should probably leave it because you're never gonna.
Okay.
There are some tier 0 things that you should keep, but that is not one.
Okay. What time is it? Are we gonna have time to even play together?
5:20. No,
Oh, okay.
that's all right.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're probably not even gonna be able to get you into the realm, but that's okay. Nice. Oh yeah, the pink bags are like loot, but it's like not soulbound. So like if a pink bag spawns in the realm, anybody can grab it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Purple bags and higher are only accessible to the person that drops them though. If you double click, then it'll just automatically go to your inventory.
Oh, okay.
You could also do click with the left, click with the right. That counts as a double click. That's like a pro strat.
Oh, you just click both.
Yeah, you just like
Okay.
do like a little
That's
roll.
a pro strat.
Yeah, because when you get to higher levels, so the brown bags, since they're lower than pink bags, drop for everybody. So when you get to a high level dungeon, people will snipe grab bags.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people. So this is another thing
This
about
is
the game.
the boss, right?
People, yes. People. Oh, blue shield means that he's invulnerable. Usually that means you have to like kill people or like wait.
The fog of war is kind of annoying.
So what you should do is you should get used to rotating the camera. So like shift it so that
Gotcha.
you want him to be on top of your screen so that you can off center so that you can see them when they move.
Okay.
Ring of Wisdom. So Wisdom is an important stat for a sorcerer, or for a wizard, because your magic ability. So Wisdom increases your magic ability faster. So it, like replenishes faster. So that's important for wizards because they use a lot of magic abilities.
Should I hold on to that other ring to like sell it or something?
No, because nobody will buy it.
Oh, I have to sell it to people?
Yeah, so there is an in-game marketplace for this game. It's entirely player run though.
Okay.
Yeah, so another thing about the game is that people hack like crazy. This is like a #1 game for hacking. People love to hack. And when they hack, the #1 thing they do is auto looter, which if they walk over a bag, it'll just automatically loot stuff that they want. You can just hit close or go and claim. Doesn't matter. All right, so this is the daily quest room. This is kind of a new addition. This is just to keep old players from coming to keep coming back. If you go into that golden door,
Where?
the golden door.
Was it up here? Oh, that's
Yeah.
a door. Okay. I didn't realize a door was just
So
sitting in
if
the
you
middle of
if
the
you
floor.
rotate your camera, the assets will stay like in one place, and that's like an easier way to identify
Okay.
like what's what. So if you go in there, that's your vault. So this is like kind of where you keep your stuff. So you have
So I can move stuff
so-
from in here to here.
not
and then
that
it
chest. That's your quest chest.
Oh,
Hit
okay.
Z to recenter your. Okay. Now if you go to that brown chest on the left side, that's where you store stuff.
Gotcha.
So if you wanted to, you could put your items in there, and then they're safe. So these are soulbound to the character, so it'll stick on any character that you end up getting. If you hit, if you go down to that portal in the middle, hey, what's up, Quadruple J? What's happening?
Hey.
So if you go to the portal in the middle, in the
here?
center, yeah, that will take you back to the Nexus.
Okay.
And then if we're in the same server, which I think we should be, come to the, hit /, then type server. All right, you're in US South. Let me move servers really quick. All right, and then just go up all the way to the top. And so those are the realms. So they're about to rework this. They're about to change this entire system. So everything I'm about to tell you is going to be fake news in a couple of days. Where are you?
Thank you for the subscribe.
Where are you? Come over here. Oh, that's you, PMLIB. Okay, I'm gonna add you as a friend. All right, and then you can just click me, Kyler on the bottom right hand corner,
Oh,
and then hit add friend.
Name's Kyler.
Kyler with an F.
Oh.
in here.
And then we'll just go in this little portal here,
Okay.
and this is the realm. So as soon as you get in, there's going to be dudes trying to kill you. So these are
Tuesday night.
the pirates. So we're on the beach right now. Oh, come up here. Wait, I'm about to give you the best item in the game.
Oh yeah.
All right, you ready? So this right there that just dropped. Oh wait, okay, yeah. So grab that stick on the ground, move it
Okay.
to your 7th slot. That is a lucky kendo stick, and it's magic. It gives you better loot drops.
Does this also give me better?
No,
drops?
just a lucky kendo stick. It also doesn't actually do that. That's just like a myth. But... All right, so
Okay.
go in that little cave. I just realized that I have my pet active. I'm not supposed to have my pet active. My pet's gonna accidentally kill everything. So I'm just gonna lock you really quick. Okay. So this game is basically, there's like an overworld that we were just in, which is the realm.
This music's great.
Yeah, they just redesigned all the music. And the realm is like the overworld, and then there's like a bunch of portals that spawn in the realms, which are dungeons. So we're in a
Okay.
dungeon right now. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to go fight Dreadstump the Pirate King, who is on the bottom
I can
of
just
your map
swim?
right now.
Like,
In some areas, you can't swim in like the darker water,
okay.
but yeah. So we're trying to get to that area. I'm playing as a knight. So as a knight, I can... Okay, so you see this pink bag? So I
yeah.
can pick up alt stuff with the pink bag.
Oh, and then I can't
Yeah.
grab it. Okay, gotcha.
So as a knight, I can stun enemies with my spacebar ability. That's what my ability does. So like they can't shoot, like so they won't be able to do damage. And it also does a little bit of damage. The knight is like one of my favorite classes. So one of the cool things about this game is you can do like you can play with a person, and then like you'll get loot that you can't use, but maybe they can use.
Right.
And then like you kind of like level up together. Oh, so you just got your first tier 1 flame burst spell. Congratulations. Yeah, so now if you hit spacebar, you'll see it looks different.
Oh, look at that.
And then that's like, oh man, I wonder what tier 2 looks like in tier 3. So there's 6 tiers of
Oh man,
abilities.
I wonder what tier 2 looks like and tier 3.
There's 6 tiers of abilities. There's 14 tiers of armor. And then there's 13 tiers of weapon.
Okay.
And each tier is better. But there's also weapons and items that are untiered, which means that they're basically just like different. Like they have like a special effect. Okay, we got to go to the top of the ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
You see it on your map? You like zoom out a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see like the plank. We gotta walk the plank. There are so many dungeons in this game.
Okay. I can see the fun you have with this game. Especially as like a kid playing a Flash game and then becoming forever
Yeah, like you literally
addicted
just
to
load it up, and then it's like, oh, like here's this new thing, and then like you play for like 10 minutes, you get a little bit stronger, and it's like nice because you don't have to put in a lot of time to get like moderate improvement.
Right.
So it's like you kind of just have it on in the background when your teacher's talking and you don't care, and then it's like, oh, let me like, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can stun this guy. I'm trying to keep my pet away from him, so my pet is like super over leveled. So if my pet sits on him, it'll just kill him immediately. So I'm trying not to do that, so I don't like ruin the gameplay.
Got him.
Nice. All right, did you get a? Oh, you got a cyan bag. Okay, so the pink bag.
Power wand. That's better
I'm
than
just
what
gonna
I
move
have
all
now.
this.
Hey.
You can't use the wands anyway. You can only use stabs.
Oh, that's only
So if you
green.
go to that cyan bag,
Oh, so if something's red, that just means I can't
yeah,
use it.
you can't use it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's an untiered ring. So
That's what you were just talking about?
yeah. So
Okay.
with rings, it's different. So untiered rings give you. So regular rings will only give you a bonus in one stat. If you have the wisdom ring right now, it just gives you a bonus in wisdom.
Gotcha.
The untiered rings will give you a mix of bonuses and sometimes special abilities as well.
Okay.
So you can double click that to move to your inventory, and then you can double click it again in your inventory. Don't worry about marks. Marks are garbage. They're stupid and they never should have added them to the game.
Okay, so don't even pick it up.
Don't even pick it up. It's garbage.
Okay.
So if you go to...
This is better than having the wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
HP and defense are the 2 most important rings. So if you ever get an HP ring, that's the one stat that you want. So if you go to the top right, underneath your map, you have like those little icons down there. You see those? Okay, so the one on the left is your attributes. So that tells you what all your stats are.
Gotcha.
So I'm just gonna run through them really quick. Attack is how much damage you do. Defense is how much damage you negate. Speed is how quickly you move. Dexterity is how fast your bullets shoot out of your weapon. Not how fast they travel, always. Just how fast they shoot
It's
out.
your attack speed, but not your projectiles.
Yes.
It is akin to a tears up, not
Yes,
okay.
not a shot speed up. Yeah, exactly. Vitality is how fast you replenish HP, and Wisdom is how fast you replenish magic power.
Okay.
So if you
So my
walk through
attack
the
stat
portal-
this is my attack stat, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
the
then-
reason that it's important is because your attack speed.
Did you go through here?
Yeah. Actually, your attack speed can get changed by weapons as well, so it's not really totally 100%. It doesn't really make sense. If you look on the left side of that screen, where all of that garbage is clogging it up, that entire block of text blocking up the left half of your screen. So on the top there, it says free demon from Oryx's minions. You got those quests. So it says reach level 20 and become stronger, defeat 28 remaining heroes, and then defeat Oryx the Mad God in his castle. So
Those are like my dailies.
no, so this is each realm that gets refreshed. So the first thing you got to do is reach level 20, which we're not gonna have time to do. Then there's 28 realm bosses, so like they're overworld bosses that anyone can fight at any time. And then
Like WoW.
yeah, exactly. And those, if you defeat all of them, everyone in the realm gets teleported to a castle where you all have to fight this giant boss, basically.
Oh, cool.
So hit R to go back to the Nexus. And then, so I'm going to show you why they're reworking what they're about to rework. So follow me go up to the portals. Hurry. Okay, now go over to Flayer and enter
It's
that.
full.
Just hit enter and it'll bring you to a queue.
Oh.
That's why they're reworking it. It's because that sucks and nobody wants to do that. All right.
Oh wait, so I don't have
having
to
fun?
click enter. I can.
No,
do
it'll
the
just
interact
leave you
button.
on the queue.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have it
Okay,
down.
gotcha.
So if you zoom all the way out and you see that red dot like in the top
Yep.
left, teleport to that. Okay. So this is high level. So what you're seeing right now, this is what the high level experience looks like.
That looks
Travel
awful.
to realm bosses and then like you basically all fight the realm boss because they drop like top level loot sometimes, but only for like 1 in 1,000 people.
Gosh.
So you're basically just like grinding out the same bosses over and over and over again. But the dungeon bosses also drop cool loot. So if you go teleport to that clump of characters like right there to your right. This is the Godlands. It's identifiable by the gray tiling on the ground.
What
So
is this?
The Godlands, also known as the
Godlands.
mountains.
Okay.
So everything in this area can kill you very, very quickly, but you get a ton of XP just from walking around.
Oh, okay.
Because people are constantly killing enemies. So that pink bag that just dropped has up to tier 6 weapons
Wow.
below you, and you can pick them up. And usually nobody else will pick them up because they're garbage compared to what they have.
Gotcha.
So if you hover over any of those people on the player screen, on the bottom right,
What?
move away from the portal, and then on the bottom right, you see all those players.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you hover over them, you can see their gear. So those are all like top level players.
Okay.
They all have like untiered stuff or like max tier weapons and armor.
Right. Okay.
And that is like the goal. You're trying to become like them.
I want to be the guy.
Oh, you just unlocked the priest class.
Cool.
Nice. Okay. Now, go see if there's something you can fight.
In here?
Yeah, just like try to kill something in the Godland. I want to show everyone what happens when you die.
That's fair.
They also definitely
engaging
ripped from
gameplay.
Breath of the Wild. This feels like Breath of the Wild.
Hey, yo, chill.
You don't really have enough speed to run away from them, which is why it's helpful to have like, oh, but there's a summoner just came in and totally helped you out. I wanted to.
I'm dying today.
Oh, he's got a potion. Oh my god. Okay, that blue bag
Yeah.
So that's what you're hunting for when you're in the Godlands.
Oh,
so every
okay.
boss has like a 1 in 30 chance of dropping one of those.
Oh, sick.
So if you double click that, it moves to your inventory. So don't consume it. But what it does is it upgrades your
permanent
stat by
okay.
+1 permanently though. So
Right.
ordinarily you get 20 level ups, and then when you reach level 20, you stop improving your stats. But you're hunting down potions, because if you grab the potions, then you can upgrade the stat. And if you upgrade it to its max, that's a max
So
stat.
you basically want to collect these and put them into your inventory so that you
Yes.
can make a new character
Yeah.
and max out the stats.
Yeah, you want to chug as many as possible.
Okay.
And if you get all of your stats maxed, that's called an 8/8, or like an 8 out of 8, which means you have all 8 of your stats maxed, and that's like the highest level character.
Okay.
And then an 8/8/4/4 is a character that has all 4 of its inventory slots maxed out to the best of its ability. So if you go to the bottom left, you see in the chat how there's all of these portals popping up. If you hit Control and then click on the portal, the message
Where?
that says the portal,
This?
yeah, and then you hit Teleport, it'll take you to where that portal just dropped. That one's already gone.
Oh. Okay.
So those are the basics of the game. So basically your job is to run around the realm killing gods until they drop a portal for a stat that you need to max.
Okay.
And then you go in the portal, kill that god, and then you get the potion that you need. They call them pots for short. And then you get all the potions that you need to get 8 out of 8. And then you die eventually. And then you make a new character with all the cool stuff that you get left over.
Okay.
And that is the
Should
core
I go
of the route.
back and put that potion in the
In the vault?
vault?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you can go in the snake pit. So the snake pit's where you get speed potions. So there's like a level to how you max out your character. So you don't drink any potions until you're level 20.
Okay.
It's basically throwing a potion away.
Right, because
except for
chances
defense.
are you're gonna die.
Well, chances are you're gonna die, but also, oh wait, go over to that portal. There's a purple bag on the ground. Do you see the purple one? To the right.
Where? No, I don't see this. Oh,
Green
yeah.
portal. So if you go to the purple bag, if you hover over it, it'll show you what's in it. Okay, that's a necromancer skull. You can't use that. Sometimes you get good loot from those. Oh, but there is a robe. That's a tier 5 robe.
Cool.
So you can equip that. And then you can just throw out the tier 1 robe because you're never going to need it again. So that's like basically how you play.
Okay.
And that is my favorite game in the entire world.
That's
This
a
is my
wild
favorite game.
statement.
And I didn't get to show you any of the cool stuff.
This is the
because we
vault,
didn't have
right?
enough time.
Here?
But
Okay.
if we had enough time, I would show you all of the cool stuff in this game. And unfortunately, I can't.
And this
But-
right here, right? And then I go to all, and then I put this in here. That's how that works, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's there.
Now, my biggest question from all of that. I'm
Yes.
still here. My biggest question from all of
I'm
that
still here.
where did the Spencer only ever playing Rogue? What's the origin to that?
Nothing. I just like rogues. I think they're cool. Rogue is really good for when you're trying to get potions and you're doing it by yourself. So when a portal drops, anybody in the realm can enter the portal. So usually what will end up happening is somebody who is faster than you will enter the portal and then kill the boss before you can even get to it. Like at the really high level, that's what tends to happen. So you want to have a fast character like a rogue to get to the boss quickly so that you can
Okay.
finish off.
Correction. This goes back to like playing D&D.
Yeah. Oh, I
Oh,
just
wait,
like
wait,
rogues.
okay.
Yeah, I think they're cool. I think they're cool and edgy.
Edgelord.
So, all right, I just want to show you what like the late game looks like.
Sure.
So, go to YouTube.
All right, so just quit the game, right?
Yeah,
That's fun though. I can see why you would like that.
and then go to.
I probably will never play it again
It's
unless we play it on
so
stream
fun.
again. But
I didn't get to show you any of the cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in the game that I did not. Unfortunately, I did not get to go. We didn't have enough time. But
okay, what am I looking up on YouTube?
go to realm that type in ROTMG void solo
This one?
and then go to the third one.
This?
Yeah. All right, and then skip to okay.
Skip to where?
Can you see it? Skip to like the 3-minute mark. So this is like the super high level gameplay. So this is a dungeon that usually requires like minimum 40 people to beat. This guy's doing it by himself because he's absolutely cracked.
Did you say 40 people?
40. The cap is 80. The cap for this one is actually 65, but the cap for most dungeons is 80. So usually there's like 40 people. Yeah, like I said, there are entire Discord servers with like tens of thousands of members that literally just sit waiting for somebody to pop a key. There's so much I didn't get to go into here, but yeah. Oh, those are called Star Wars. If they hit you, you die, basically.
Great.
Those are shurikens.
The song is very good too.
Yeah, don't get hit by the Star Wars. Those are big boys. Don't get hit by the big boys. Yeah,
I mean,
this is what the high-level gameplay looks like.
I'll probably never play this game again, like I said, like unless we play it on stream. But I could see how if I started playing this game when I was like 10 and got really into it and was like on Reddit, like looking up strats and builds and stuff, it would hold a place.
That's the thing I love about the game. There are no strats, there are no builds. It is so unbelievably simple.
Okay.
Because that's when I stop playing games, is when I start to get stressed out because I have to worry about strategies and builds and all that stuff. I don't care about any of that. I can't play League of Legends because I go in and there's the shop and it's like, oh, well, forget about 90% of these items because you only need these 5. And it's like, dude, that sucks. Why would you include 90 items that I'm never going to use in this stupid shop? What is the point of that? That's why I don't play League. I love this game because pretty much everything at the higher level is viable. And if it's not, they'll tell you. They'll tell you, hey,
I mean,
you're banned from this run because your set is terrible.
That's a fair.
Your set is trash, bud.
So what I'm hearing is this is like if League of Legends is good.
Yeah, basically.
That makes sense to me though, because like I can't stand if I like
these dodges.
try to look at something about Baldur's Gate and people are like, well, no, you should take like 3 levels of this,
only
and
do this.
4 levels of that, and 2 of that. I was like, no, I just want to play a rogue. I don't want a multi-class as a rogue fighter sorcerer with 2 levels of bard. Like, I just want to play.
That's why I love this game, is because at its core, it is a flash game. It's a flash game at its core.
Yeah.
So it is designed to be something you can pick up and play in your lunch break and like advance very slightly and then just like log off and then pick it up like 3 days later, like, and just pick up where you left off and then just play for 10 minutes
like
and then get off.
Impact.
That's what I love about this game, because at its core, the gameplay loop takes a half hour. You could get from starting a realm, if you have like 80 players, you get from starting a realm to closing that realm and fighting orcs in like 20 minutes. And then you could do that like 5 times before you have to, go to bed for the night. It's really fun. This is literally my favorite game of all time.
That's so crazy. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing. This was a fun show and tell.
Yeah, no,
Oh, okay. So schooling Spencer's a great name for a segment. Instead of schooling Brian, we should have Spencer show and tell. Schooling Spencer and Spencer show and tell. Those are our segments.
I didn't really get to school you because I didn't get to take you to any of the hard areas.
You didn't get to school me, but it's fine.
I really wanted to take you to Oryx's Castle, but it's okay.
All right.
I really wanted to show him O2. That would have been fun. That would have been really fun. But we unfortunately did not get to do that today. But that's okay. So next time we're going to be playing
Jusant. Yeah.
yes, it's a climbing game.
Actually, we probably will be playing Jusant next stream. We may call an audible. We are having a 90s computer lab program next Thursday. True. And I just bought a bunch of games on GOG. So we might do something like play like Fortnite.
A little bit of Rayman.
Fallout 1.
Wild.
Or like, we might play like Fallout 1 or like Doom 1 or just like one of those older games. We might not. I'll see if... we probably won't, honestly, but there's a chance that we will. So, just putting that out there.
Sounds like a good time. All right.
Thank you for tuning in and watching us talk about all the games we already played.
Yeah.
And then watching some Rotmeg.
A little bit of Rotmeg to finish off the stream.
Rotted my brain.
Wish we could have done a little bit more. But that's all right. I'm going to go play when
Just message me on Steam.
I'm going to go play when I get home.
All right.
I love that. I'm definitely playing.
Thank you all for tuning in.
All right. See you later,
Thank you, Aiden, for being Aiden.
Yes,
yeah. Big shout out to our producer. And we'll see you next week, same time.
Same bat time. Same bat channel.
Maybe something else.
Maybe
all right.
something else. Okay, bye.
Peace out.